In this video, I'm going to discuss authentic leadership, an imperative for diversity and inclusion in the workplace, which also happens to be the title of a book that I wrote. In this video, I attempt to dig a little deeper and delve deeper into authentic leadership and the natural synergies between diversity and inclusion. If you like this video, remember to hit the like button, share, and subscribe, and don't forget to hit the bell. Today, I really want to focus on the Authentic Diversity and Inclusion Leadership Assessment that I developed as a tool, or the ADILA tool, to help individual leaders determine whether they're an authentic diversity and inclusion leader. I would like to start with this quote by Loretta Melandro on authentic leadership. When you can truly understand how others experience your behavior without defending or judging, you then have the ability to produce a breakthrough in your leadership and team. Everything starts with your self-awareness. You cannot take charge without taking accountability, and you cannot take accountability without understanding how you avoid it. Here are some basics of the ADILA, or the Authentic Diversity and Inclusion Leadership Assessment. It's a self-assessment survey. It has 132 questions. It is multiple choice. It is on a Likert scale from strongly disagree to strongly agree, and it has 15 sections of competencies, characteristics, or qualities. Authentic leadership characteristics. If you don't see yourself, you can't understand your impact on others. The first characteristic of an authentic diversity and inclusion leader is self-awareness, and this section has 10 questions. The genuineness and reliability section has 9 questions, and it attempts to see or explore your skill set and if you have the characteristics of being your true, real self and genuine, and if you're reliable in terms of can your team, your followers, or employees rely on you. The purpose-driven characteristics or qualities of authentic diversity and inclusive leaders is 11 questions, and the purpose-driven takes a look at whether or not a lot of things you do as a leader, you have goals in mind, and in particular, long-term goals. The moral uprightness or integrity section of the ADILA, or the Authentic Diversity and Inclusion Leadership Assessment, is 10 questions long, and it takes a look at if you have morals and values as a leader, and if you use them to drive the things that you do, and if you have integrity in terms of having some kind of honor code or moral code. Learning from others and exemplary listening skills section has 11 questions, and in this section it attempts to see if you have a skill set or characteristics, qualities regarding being a good listener, and then also how and the importance that you have or you place towards learning from others. The interpersonal relationships, or good interpersonal relationships, has 8 questions, and it takes a look at just that, your interpersonal relationships within the work environment. And it takes a look at whether you have good interpersonal relationships with your followers and employees, your peers, and other leaders. The Seek feedback session attempts to get insight into whether you actively, as a leader, seek feedback from others, and it has 5 questions within this section. The Focus on Results section of the ADILA assessment piece takes a look at whether or not the leader is focused on results, in particular long-term results, but that the results, or getting to the results, is more important to the leader than maybe the steps or the process that you take to get there. And there are 5 questions in this section. The openness section of the ADILA attempts to look at whether a leader is open to feedback, open to new ideas, no matter where they come from. And this section has 5 questions. The consistency piece of the ADILA really looks at whether the leader is consistent in actions and words, and if they do what they say, and if they walk the talk. And this consists of 6 questions. So the implicit or unconscious bias awareness and diversity section has the greatest amount of questions within the ADILA. And it consists of 16 questions. It explores unconscious bias, awareness for oneself, what other types of things the leader attempts to do in terms of looking at their work environment and how unconscious bias and diversity impacts the workplace, and their openness to eliminating or limiting unconscious bias and increasing diversity in their work environment. Acting as a coach has 8 questions, and this one is fairly straightforward, but it talks about the leader being more of a coach than like more of a micromanager. The delegation skills section is 12 questions, and this section is really about a leader's ability to delegate and find individuals who are appropriate for specific jobs, specific tasks, initiatives, so appropriately assigning individuals and not taking on the work themselves, and making sure that a project, initiative, or plan is successful. Now, the coordinator style is really about, in addition to delegation, how the leader is able to coordinate tasks, so form that blueprint, but help them achieve the goals, and that the coordinator style type of leader, or those skill sets or characteristic, this person is not out doing all the work, but they're coordinating tasks, right? They're helping to move it along. Similarly to the coordinator and the development skills and style, the facilitation skills are very important for leadership under the ADILA, because the facilitator helps build group consensus and also helps the leader develop, coalitions around particular programs, processes, plans, or initiatives. And this section has 8 questions. So after you take the ADILA, or the Authentic Diversity and Inclusion Leadership Assessment, and add up your scores, you will find your preferred ADILA leadership style. First up is the Authentic Diversity and Inclusion Leader Style, or ADILS. Now, this leader is the gold standard for the ADILA assessment. This one includes all the different competencies. So all 15 competencies, this type of leader does well. And this leader is the one that is the most committed to diversity and inclusion, has excellent communication style, is able to encourage and empower employees to meet their professional and personal goals, as well as organizational goals. This is the leader that is able to lead authentically and create diversity and inclusion in their workplaces, and they add a lot of value, and then they tell their followers and employees how valuable they are to the institution. The learner leadership style, or LLS, is the type of leader that really primarily leads through learning from all individuals, from others, peers. They take their life experience from their personal and professional life into their leadership. These leaders also are excellent listeners and provide a framework for employees and followers to be able to convey their thoughts, their feelings, their strengths, their weaknesses. But the learner leader style is the leadership style that uses learning and engaging from others and listening to people's concerns, as a way to lead an organization. The purpose-driven leadership style, or PDLS, is the type of leader that practice purpose-driven leadership that is goal-oriented, and they also have a passion for achieving their goals and executing their vision. And so most of what purpose-driven leaders do is they really focus on the goals and the objectives of everything that they do. The self-aware authentic leadership style, or SAALS, is one which really includes people who are self-aware, self-assured, moral, and reliable. People who have this leadership style, they know themselves really well, and they create balance in all areas of their lives. The inclusive diversity leadership style, or IDLS, are individuals or leaders that really encompass all the principles, I would say, of diversity and inclusion. And their commitment is to caring for others in the work environment, and then they also practice self-care. And then they try to really encourage others to practice self-care as well. And these leaders are interested in really accepting and working with the whole individual, and accepting and embracing all aspects that individuals bring into the workplace in terms of all the dimensions of diversity and inclusion. They primarily focus on diversity and inclusion initiatives as a leadership strategy, and creating safe, welcoming, and inclusive workspaces. The coach leadership style, or CLS, are the type of leaders that uses coaching as a main mechanism to lead employees. The coach leader will use coaching techniques, delegation skills, may at times adopt a coordinator style, and then does a lot of facilitation. These leaders try to inspire their followers and employees to meet the organizational goals while developing their own personal and professional goals. Authentic diversity inclusion assessment, or the ADILA, really helps an individual or leaders understand how their skills and competencies, as related to the 15 sections, how everything fits together. So the assessment takes a look at, are you an authentic, diversity, and inclusive leader? But then it also gives you some insight into each individual section of competencies, characteristics, or qualities that you can learn more about, where your strengths and where your weaknesses. And then it also provides a professional development plan template for you to take a look at how to further strengthen the skills that you're pretty strong on, address your weaknesses, and then take a look at some of the areas where you may have some competencies, or you use some of the skills, but you may need to develop them further. So coming soon will be the Authentic Diversity and Inclusion Leadership Assessment. It'll be available at Amazon.com, and then also on my website, Kelley Consulting Firm, at www.kelleyconsultingfirm.com. I'd like to point out to you the book that started it all, The Authentic Leadership: An Imperative for Diversity and Inclusion in the Workplace, is available right now at Amazon.com, and it's also available on my website at www.kelleyconsultingfirm.com. Drop me a comment in the comment section and let me know what you want to learn more about for my next video. If you like this video, click on like, share, and subscribe, and don't forget to click on the bell.